I can't look at her and expect her to be able to do what other kids are doing. And I just have to look, this is our story and her story. So it's not what I expected life to look like. It's just how it's going to go for us. So I have to have patience. I have to have, support around me is huge.
Welcome to Tune In the First 3 Years. Today, July 4th, we both have our red, white, and blue on, or at least you're red,
Right.
blue, and white. I have Kelly here with us. I met Kelly and her family August of 2024, and I started working with her daughter then, who was at the time about a year and a half, a little
Mhm.
bit more. And so we've known each other almost 2 years, and I am really happy to have you on here. I just love your family and
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gosh, it's my pleasure to be on here. So we're very happy. We're so happy that you came into our life because you're just an absolute blessing to us. So yes,
Thanks,
thank
Kelly.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very hard. I know we touched on that a little bit. It's really hard to make that break with
Hmm.
families, and I am definitely somebody that gets very close to the majority of my family. So there's definitely
Yes.
a grief that goes with it, to be honest. And it's a very short amount of time. Like the most
Yes.
I ever work with somebody is probably 2 years, and you could,
Oh,
it's an intimate thing, right? We come into your home
right.
and we sometimes meet you at a really hard time. Most of the time, we meet you at a really hard time. So I feel like,
Right.
yeah, it's kind
Well,
of.
and for us, like you came into our family at, I would say, the perfect time because we were still unsure what was going on with her. And
Yeah.
so you are like this encouraging spirit that was just like, okay, let's get her to crawl or just work on her hands and knees and we'll get there, turn pages like she used to do. And then I'll never forget the day that we got the call from the neurologist saying that, we have the diagnosis, which is Rett syndrome, and you came, I believe it was 2 days before her second birthday. And then you were coming for some reason, I think it was like a Monday that week that you were coming. And I just remember crying when you got here. And you were just such a like fresh, like a burst of fresh air, like that came in just to know, like, hey, we got you. You're going to be okay. And I mean, we're going to get through this together. So that's what we did. And
Oh,
here we are.
that's really nice to hear. And like one thing I can always say about you is you have been such an amazing advocate for your daughter and like always on top of everything and always trying to get all your ducks in a row and just
Right.
being on top of it. Like you were one of the first moms that I have had that like made up your own goals, which is exactly what it's supposed to be. That is what the
Right. Right.
advocacy is. You were like, I kind of want her to be able to drink out of a you were like drink out of a pouch, like you kind of made it up because you're like she can't drink out of a straw, she can't drink out of an open cup, but she sucks yogurt out of a pouch. So what if we put liquid in the pouch? And I'm like, that's genius. And like that was what we needed to do to make goals for her because she
Yes.
didn't follow the traditional trajectory of meeting milestones, right?
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why I just figured, I mean, even when I was trying to put, because she liked the book with the dog fur and she would always touch the fur.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I went and bought the same fur at the store and wrapped her bottle to
Yeah.
maybe she would hold it. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to just be creative and I'm with her nonstop. So I feel like, I see what she can do, and so I feel like for someone in that situation, I mean, I have goals myself, so
Well,
I don't know.
you're an expert in your child, right? And that's what
Right,
we always say when we do the plan. Like we can come up with goals, but if they don't mean anything to you, then what's the point? So,
right.
yeah.
Because I
So,
wouldn't follow through if it
right.
didn't mean anything. I'm not going to practice. So
Exactly.
I like when goals really mean something, you're going to do it nonstop. Like the sit to stand. Like I want her to build her leg muscles, or you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start. So tell us a little bit about your daughter and like her diagnosis and then who she is beyond the diagnosis.
So my daughter she's an angel. So she is just the happiest little girl. I mean, she's beautiful, she's smart, I mean, she's sleeping next to me, so I can hear her snoring. But she's so happy, sweet, um, affectionate, and I mean, there's not one bad thing you can say about her. It's just she can't communicate because she has Rett. Um, it's it doesn't define her. It's just part of her story right now.
Right.
But I mean, she's just amazing. She's wonderful. She's an angel.
Yeah, some of those pictures, I'm going to ask you for those when the podcast airs, like some of those pictures that you shared of her on the horse and her in Disney and
Yes,
everything, that totally exudes who she is. And I love those pictures. When I got them,
right?
my heart was like, oh, she looks so
I
big.
know. She has such like her expressions just say it all. Like
Yeah,
you can see her happiness through her eyes, her smile. I mean, just because she can't communicate verbally does not mean she's not communicating
a
at all.
100%, 100%. So
So,
when did you first notice that something was different with her?
I would say when she was not hitting her milestones and that, but then it was also when you pick like her up, you would pull, or I would pull her up from the floor, or when I would change her or hold her, her joints were popping. And I'm like, this is not normal. She is extremely flexible. And so I actually ended up calling an orthopedic doctor myself just to get things checked out and the
Oh,
ball rolling. And then he's the one who referred us to a neurologist. So that's how our story kind of started there.
yeah. Yeah, and I
But
remember like it's called low tone, right? And you know that now, but like yeah, when
yes,
you pick her up, especially like underneath her arms, like your arms like just slip right through her
yeah,
arms and same thing with the legs. And so but that
yes,
can be so many diagnoses. Like that doesn't mean it's Rett syndrome, right? It doesn't know.
right,
Doesn't mean that. So
exactly.
I remember that day when you received the diagnosis. I remember showing up at your door. I remember giving you a hug and
Yes.
crying and all the things. I think I don't remember if Natalie was with us or not, but I do remember that day. So what was
Right.
your experience like receiving that and like what emotions do you remember most from that season?
So hearing the news, I remember that the doctor called and I was holding her, she was napping in my arms, and the doctor called and he was like, "Oh, I just wanted to let you know that the test results came back and she tested positive for having Rett syndrome." I'm like, "Okay, okay." Just saying okay to everything, like it's just nothing. And he was like, "Well, it's really bad." And I'm just like, well, that's really weird because I've never heard of Rett
Mhm.
syndrome. I don't know what it is. But I just know the kind of person I am. I will get through anything. You cannot give me something that I will not be able to navigate through or jump over.
That
So
is true.
I
That is 100% true about you.
right. So my husband was off, and I remember I wrote down on a piece of paper Rett syndrome, and immediately he came over and he started Googling, and he just started crying. And so once I saw him crying, everything went out the window because now I cannot focus on what the doctor is telling me. And so that day was really rough because it's just this diagnosis that we've never heard of. And then it's the worst case scenario that you see and you start reading about online. So I know now that, every situation has its own story. So you cannot look at one story and say, this is exactly how my daughter's going to look or she's going to end up. So I mean, that season was extremely difficult for me, but I
It took some
knew,
time to figure out like that answer that each situation is unique and she might not be the ones that you're reading about.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I just looking at her, I know she will not be like that. And
Yeah.
so I just kept telling, we've got this. We've got it. We're not going to, push ourselves away from the situation. We're going to hit the nail on the head and tackle it right there. So
Yeah,
that's
you're going to be such an inspiration because there will be other families that will have children that will have this diagnosis, and that's
right.
my heartbeat about this is for you, your story to be able to help other people. And it will.
Yes, right. Yes, exactly.
It will. And other people have
I
helped
hope
you
so.
too, right? Like when you've gone to like
Definitely.
the Rett clinic and you've read other things, it is definitely helpful.
Yes. No,
Um,
that's very true.
yeah. So how do you cope with the uncertainty of like not knowing what the future holds?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't
Okay.
because, and I wrote this down, because Rett is so different in girls. Um, Rett syndrome goes hand in hand with epilepsy. So for me, if there's one thing that I am not good with is seizures. I know I cannot handle that, and I just keep telling myself, God will not put me through something he knows I cannot handle. So if it's something I'm going to be able to handle, he is going to give it to me how it is. But I don't look at life as, you know, I have to do something for the future. I look at it as day by day. So I don't want to predict something is going to happen tomorrow if it may never happen.
Yeah. So using your
So,
faith too. It sounds like your faith
right.
in that and living day to day is how quote unquote how you cope with it is because
Yes,
you don't think that there's uncertainty tomorrow. It's just today, and then you have faith that you're going to be able to get through it. It's beautiful.
exactly.
That's
So
beautiful.
that's my outlook is I don't wish or predict anything. I just, when the day comes where we travel a lot to Washington and where the day comes I can't change her on the plane anymore, I will navigate a new direction and figure it out. So
She is so blessed to
I
have
know,
you. She
right?
she is in the right family, that is for sure.
Oh, well, thank you.
Were there moments where grief showed up for you unexpectedly?
To be honest with you, I think it shows up every day or every other day. And it's because it is so hard to see her crying and not know what is wrong. And
Um,
so for me, I want to take it away. So we had a book that she used to play with, and it had a dog, a cat, and a sheep on the side, and it would light up. She would push the buttons and turn the page, and she loved it. So I brought the book out, I would say a week ago, and she started crying. And I'm like, she remembers this book and she remembers pushing the buttons and she can't do it anymore. And so she's crying, I'm crying. And it's just, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? We're going to get there. We're going to get back to that. And we just have to get through this. So that's what I do. But I will say it comes and goes just with her emotions. And I wouldn't say so much on her situation of having Rett syndrome.
yeah,
It's just I have grief because she is, trying to do things and can't communicate.
right.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a great example. So early intervention, that's what we were in your house. So how did early intervention become part of your journey? How did you get the referral and that because it was before the diagnosis?
so honestly, we went to the dentist, my dentist, and the doctor there, I was talking to her about my daughter, and my dentist was, have you ever heard of Arizona's early intervention? And I was like, no. And so my husband and I took turns because we, of course, have no family here. And so he was back there, and the assistants were working on him, and she followed me out to the waiting room. And she was like, here, download this, start looking this up, and then submit
Ah,
an application. And she was so much help to me that is how I got started. And I will never forget that. She was
yeah.
amazing dentist. But yeah, that's
So
how,
were you sharing that she was kind of behind on some of her milestones or regressing or anything like
yes.
that? You were sharing that. Okay.
It was just she was delayed. So she was extremely delayed on her milestones, and she was like, you don't have to pay for anything. They just come to your house and they will, it's therapy in your house. And I'm like, well, how great is that? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's
I don't think I
how,
remember that. I'm not sure I really remember that. Maybe I never asked you or maybe I just forgot, but I love that.
yes. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So it's all about being out, well, not hiding and not being
Yeah.
ashamed
A hundred
of
percent.
what your situation is.
A
So being
hundred
able to
percent.
talk about it is how you're going to get answers and support and help. And if you take one thing from one person and another thing from another person and you put everything together, you're going to have a powerful team. So,
You that is so true. And I feel like when we hide or we're not vulnerable about it, that's when
right.
those type of things they won't we won't be able to evolve into the answers because we're
Yes.
hiding it. And same thing with friendship, same thing with this. But yeah, I that is something I
Yeah.
really want to impart on new families. And that's a lot of the impetus for this is so when new families get their referral and they start into the process, they can have these videos and these podcasts to listen to so they're
Yes.
not so afraid of sharing their heart because
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
scary,
it's
but I
very
mean,
scary. Yeah.
just get it out there. The
Yeah, I
more you
love
talk
that.
about it, the more comfortable you'll get. So
Much courage.
that's right.
So you had on the team, you had myself, you had a vision specialist, you had a developmental specialist, and a service coordinator. So what are some things that you felt like we as a team did to help you be seen and feel supported?
I will say, for one, any resource possible, you guys gave it to me. So if it was, I mean, you got us personally the stander, the gait trainer, the activity chair, the bath chair. Like we have a equipment workshop here in our house because you got us everything that we could possibly need for her. So that we can never thank you enough for too. But not only that, just like the referrals that you would give us, like the horseback riding, if we could get on a list, or um, just just
Swimming,
every yeah, swimming.
swimming.
Actually, swimming is amazing. She loves her water, and we are 3 seconds away from being able to float solo.
Wow. I know how
So
much you love that when I last was at the house. That's so
yes.
amazing.
Yes.
I love
So
that.
you guys have helped us so much. And then not only with coming to the house weekly, but being able to, have the support of, try this with her or try that with her, that I would never like positions to get her to stand or to lean against, or, just to get her moving and I mean able to do things she used to do. So
Yeah, and it's a little bit challenging for families to wrap their head around the coaching model of it. Most families and most people think of the medical model when they think about physical therapy and any type of therapy. You go into the clinic
right.
and the therapist is hands-on the whole time. It took me a while to wrap my head around it. But as I've grown to do it for a while, I really respect it in that it's so all encompassing. Like sometimes I'll go and I will spend 20 minutes listening to somebody cry,
Right.
because their mom has just passed away or a diagnosis happens. And that's really the heartbeat of what we are. And so,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
No, and I remember that very well. So, I mean, there were days that she would fall asleep
yeah,
halfway through,
yeah.
and sometimes I just needed to vent to you on what was going on or the situation that we had just been through, or, doctors that I was not a fan of. So it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, you heard it all, and you were my soundboard for everything. So,
Oh, yeah,
yes, no, it was, and especially coming from, I mean, we're not from Arizona, so we don't have anyone. So you
right.
became our family that we can, you know, vent to or anything. So yes,
I'm
it,
happy
it
to
was
hear that.
amazing.
So,
Yes.
let's talk about a little bit about parenting. How has
Yes.
parenting her changed you?
Patience. I have had to work on my patience. I thought I was a patient person to begin with. No, you really have to have patience and just relax, and it's on her time. So, I mean, she's her own person. I just have to adapt to her. But I have to be patient with her. So I can't look at her and expect her to be able to do what other kids are doing. And I just have to look, this is our story and her story. So it's not what I expected life to look like. It's just how it's going to go for us. So I have to have patience. I have to have, support around me is huge. So
Yeah.
yeah,
What would
it's
you
just,
want people to understand about children with Rett syndrome? If there was another family that was just diagnosed and I put you in touch with them, what would you want that family to understand?
I would say that, so what I live by is what my mom told me when I first found out is that you're devastated as soon as you hear the information. But at the same time, she's still the same girl as she was yesterday. So no matter what the diagnosis is, she's still the same girl. And you don't know any different. So I I never was able to experience anything different than having a little girl with Rett syndrome. So to look at her and know that she's still happy, she still communicates in her own way. I mean, the hope that you have to have is what you're going to rely on because there's testing. There's so much hope for her that you just have to stay positive and not go down a hole that, you know, the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love that. Um, Now I know
yes, it's
this is kind of the
yeah,
hill I'll die on about um, things that people say to you that, not to you, but to families in general or grief or whatever. Sometimes people say things, and a lot of times it's because they really don't know what to say. And so they feel uncomfortable. So they might say
right.
things that could be hurtful. We can construe them as hurtful. They're not helpful sometimes. I want to focus on the things that you felt did, words or actions that people had said to you that made you feel loved and supported on the hardest days that you were going through.
I would say just hearing that I'm here for you. What do you need? What can I help you with? That is what means the most because at the end of the day, you know who your team is when they are continuing to check on you every single week or day. Or, I mean, it's very hard to keep in contact with someone every day. So it's more like even once a week,
Yeah.
you see who is on your side. To be honest, I've had friends that found out that she has Rett syndrome and we can't, go to the zoo or when it's hot because she doesn't do well with the heat. I've never heard from them since. So you have to give or take. Like it's not because she is not able to talk or in a situation that is not, they're not like the other kids around. It's just that person doesn't know how to deal with someone who is different than their child.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not my fault. It's not my daughter's fault, but it's their own fault. And I respect that. Like if
Yeah.
you don't want to be around us, then perfect.
Yeah.
So,
You wouldn't want to have that person around you if they're not going to be 100% on your team.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I love that.
So,
Like, what do you need? What can I do to support you? I'm here for you. I mean, they're really
yeah,
simple things. I feel because I have been that person. I feel like we want to help, we want to fix, we might be uncomfortable. And so
right,
we'll sometimes say things to try to mask the discomfort when it
right.
really is just needs to be dialed back and just be something simple like, I'm here for you.
Yeah,
You know, when someone gets a
exactly.
diagnosis of cancer, like when I worked in the hospital all those many years, it's just I'm here for you instead of it's going to be okay. I mean, we don't know that,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really not what you want to hear is
No,
everything. The one thing I really don't like is that when someone says, everything happens for a reason.
me too.
I don't like that anymore. I'm guilty of it. I used to
Yeah.
say that. And now I look at it completely different because there's no reason why she should have it,
No.
is what I look at now. So when they say that, I'm like, really? Is
No.
that true? No, it's not.
No.
So,
What I say is there's an opportunity in everything.
Yes,
So
exactly.
there's an opportunity in this, but there's absolutely no reason that she should have this diagnosis in your family. I mean, yeah,
No,
I feel, but that's
no,
one of the things that people say because they don't know what else to say. And
exactly.
no fault to anybody. It's just, but I
Right.
love that. And I think that'd be really helpful for people to hear that.
Hmm.
So a couple more questions. If you could sit beside yourself the day that of the diagnosis, knowing what you know now,
Yes.
what would you have said to yourself that day?
Um, don't jump to conclusions because again, everyone is different. Every mutation is different. Her mutation is not the same as someone else's mutation. Um, Instead of going down a rabbit hole and looking at pictures and what other families have said about their child, start looking up research, genetic therapies, treatments for this. And that's something I really didn't do right off the bat,
Right.
which I wish I would have done instead of looking at her lifespan or, she could have a seizure at any time. That's the stuff I went down instead of, okay, well, we've been to doctors in different states at this point, and every doctor has said something to me that I take away. So I totally believe that there's no such thing as having too many cooks in the kitchen. You have as many cooks as possible if they have amazing recipes. So that's the way I look at it. I just, yeah, no, I don't know. She's just perfect. So,
She is. So let's end on a couple of those questions. When you think about her, what makes you smile the most?
to know that she is a stubborn little Finn girl and she will not give up. I know that she has this drive in her that when she does finally receive the gene therapy that has come out from all the research, that she is going to take that and run with it. So if she's going to start walking and talking, then she will. So she has a fight in her. She has a little fire that will light her, and she will just take off at
Just
full
like her
speed.
mama.
Yeah.
Just like her
Yep.
mama. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No. And you can tell with her little squishy face and her little attitude, when she does not want something, she will let you know. That's not what I want. So
She's learning
that's
to
how she's,
communicate in her own way.
yes. So,
All right,
yeah.
last one. If she could tell the world one thing about herself, what do you think she'd want us to know?
Um, that I would say, is the same little angel that every other little girl is. She just can't communicate yet.
Yeah.
So she's no different than you or I. It's just she's not able to communicate it verbally. Um, but she will one day. She's not going to give up. I know that for a fact. She is a fighter and she'll be with us for a long, long time, just like you and I. So,
And I look forward to that. And I hope we can stay in touch. And I
yes.
hope that I look
Yes.
forward to that day.
Yes, I know. The therapies that are out there is just, I mean, we have another trial that is going on right now, and the outcomes from those trials are absolutely amazing. So, yes,
That's
we
awesome.
will, yeah. But she'll be back in her own way once that's in her.
Yeah.
But
Well, thank you for your time. So
yes,
appreciate it. It was
thank
wonderful to
you.
see you, and I hope we can
I
stay in
know.
touch and
Definitely.
give her a
Definitely,
big hug
definitely.
from me.
I will. Yes, no. We love seeing you. We love hearing from you. So,
I'm going to come by and visit
yes.
when I'm in the neighborhood and I have a cancellation in between my two. I'll come by and
Yes,
make a
you
visit.
should.
I
You
will.
should. Definitely.
All right,
So,
Kelly.
hey,
Thanks so much.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.